Hi everyone. Thanks for the class last night. I thought I should do this short video about the issue that I couldn't really deal with last night because I was rushing to, sort of give you time off after 2 hours, long 2 hours of listening to a lot of getting a lot of information dump about the Research Ethics Committee issues around data collection, their advice. So I mentioned last night that I will do this next week, but I thought I'd rather do this video because next week I'd rather just focus on the topic then. So if you would oblige and just perhaps have a quick listen to and look at a short video. So the issue was the slide that we didn't get to just before the end of the session that I didn't open up. So it is embedded in the slides for you to have a look at yourself. So let me just make it a little bit bigger. What you see here is the exact text feedback from the Research and Ethics Committee. So the first point I make is, well, of course, please incorporate the following in your research. And the issue of coercion you should be aware of, and the voluntary nature of research and a right to withdraw. So the REC made the comment that given how well the researchers yourselves know each potential participant, it is important that all researchers have given ample thought to how they will make it clear to potential participants that they are not required to participate and can withdraw at any time. You must also especially be aware that it could be difficult for potential participants to decline an invitation to participate because of this prior relationship. And I just want to intervene here, pause for a moment. Now we say coaching is a peer-to-peer relationship. There's not a hierarchy in it, but the fact is that there might be feelings of power differential, irrespective of how hard we try not to bring that into the relationship. So there is a risk of that. So carrying on with what the REC then said, is acknowledging this issue, this in the invitation to participate or in the information sheet can help mitigate these risks. So just keep that in mind in the information sheet, and when we get to the information sheet in a later session, I will come back to this issue. It's actually more than just a data collection issue. There's an whole ethical angle to it and so on. So then the reflexivity, due to the dual relationship as well as the position of the researcher, reflexivity will be an important aspect of this research. So from your side, it should be critical reflexivity about your role, your position in all of this, and so on. So the REC continues, it should address two important aspects, this reflexivity, the positionality of the researcher, and two practical steps that will be taken during the research process to address any bias. At the point then they made the comment just 2 years ago that if researchers have not yet had a chance during the proposal writing, they are encouraged to, this is now before beginning with data collection, engage in some reflexive process, such as unpacking who the researcher is and identifying how these parts relate to the broader research. For example, being both the coach, as the Research Ethics Committee assigns you the role of change maker, their wording, and researcher, and they assign you the label change measurer. And my just intervention here a little bit is that I mention that we don't measure anything. there's a kind of a measurement, but measure imply quantitative. I don't think the rec meant it that way. They meant it in a way that you looking at an interview and gaining an insight into the participants' change experience, which inverted commas measure, I think is what they meant by that. So will naturally produce results that are skewed in a particular way. Or perhaps, I know they use the word will naturally produce, it might naturally produce, and there is a real risk of that. The students, and I'm intervening again here, the students in the past, what I have found, and I've fed that back to the students in their research papers, is that in their draft research papers, is that some participants, many participants, spend a lot of time trying to convince the coach, which is then the researcher in the interview, that this whole coaching journey is about the coach having done a magnificent job. And no doubt they have done so, but that's not the purpose of it. And there is perhaps a natural skew there where the participant bias comes in that we spoke about yesterday. So we'll naturally produce results that are skewed in a particular way. And then the second aspect of reflexivity is then unpacking one or two practical methods or steps that each researcher will take to reduce the effect that the researcher has on the research. So at this point, this is what you now need to take account of. All of what has been said in this whole area is in your proposals. You must please build in what this last highlighted sentence refers to. Is unpacking one or two practical methods or steps that each researcher will take to reduce the effect that the researcher has on the research. And you can open the dialogue in our next sessions, but particularly maybe when we get to the ethics part of it, or even the trustworthiness piece, credibility, because that relates to this as well. So I must draw your attention to this. The Research and Ethics Committee at the time did not request the students to return their proposals so that the Research Ethics Committee could see these issues being dealt with. The proposals were of high enough quality that they convinced the Research and Ethics Committee to give a approval with feedback like this for the researchers to consider. I think these are very important points given the nature of our research. So I think that is the issue here. And then we'll, as I mentioned, we'll come back to this at some point. I was going to say something else. I think that's about it then for this. Oh, I wanted to just add, I don't think I said so last night, but hopefully it goes without saying, is that you must please retain the communication lines with me during the week as well, when you do your work on the assessment and reviewing the material that we went through. 2 hours and sharing such a lot of information, maybe there's a bit of an overload, but now you have a chance to reflect during the weeks in between. Do maintain that open line with myself and WhatsApp or email, and I can see how I can best help. Okay.